Hey guys, I'm back in the kitchen again, and today we are canning our Halloween pumpkin. I didn't want the pumpkin to go to waste, and Allie finally said, okay, we can get rid of her pumpkin. So what we've done is we've taken the seeds out, and we're going to clean up all this gunk out of the seeds, and we're going to feed it to the chickens. We've peeled the pumpkin. All the peelings in there will go to the chickens, and we're dicing these up, as you can see. These are going to go into a pot of boiling water with a tablespoon of salt. And from there I'm going to put them in jars, and I'm going to bring you along for this process so you can see another thing that can be canned safely. You do not ever want to make this into like a puree and can it. It's not safe. And this is the recommended method for canning pumpkin. One of the finds we have, this is hilarious, but this is a pumpkin seed that sprouted in the pumpkin. So we're going to save a few of these and see if we can plant them and see if they grow in the garden. I'll have a follow-up video on that as well, if they take, and we'll show you what we get out of that. So, but this is where we're at right now. We have most of the pumpkin ready to go. Jim actually stepped in here to help me because I'm canning other things, because those back there are the morning can. And then over here is my pot of hot water with salt that the pumpkin's going to go in. We're going to put it in and process only 2 minutes, and then we're going to fill jars. I have to get my jars ready before I do this, so I'm going to work on that next. And the jars will be cleaned and sterilized before I start the pumpkin in the boiling water. And I'll be back with you in a few minutes on that process. Alright guys, I got a helper here. He's going to hold the camera since I don't have a tripod yet. And I'm going to show you the process of filling the jars. As you can see, my pumpkin is now nice and hot and boiling. Don't get that too close, it'll steam up. I'm going to turn the heat off because we don't need to overcook the pumpkin. And what I'm using is my spaghetti spoon because it's slotted in to leave all the juices out. And I'm just going to fill the jar. The smaller you cube your pumpkin, the easier it is to get it into the jar for a canning process. I decided to do quarts versus pints because I'm almost out of pint jars, and I really like to can meats in pints. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is saving those jars. Give it a little shake. Might be able to get 1 or 2 more in there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to a ladle, and the juice that is in this pumpkin is going to be what goes into my jars, because all the vitamins, the mineral, and a little bit of salt is in here, because remember I put a tablespoon of salt in this pot of water. We're going to fill the jar up to the bottom ring. Okay? Now the next step is you take your debubbler. You want something plastic. I have a kit, a canning kit, so this is the debubbler. You're going to debubble your jars. No matter what you're canning, this is very, very important to get the bubbles out of the jar if you can. So the jar is debubbled. The next step is I'm going to wet my paper towel, clean my lid or the rim of the jar. Don't forget, inspect your jars for damage. No damage, so we're going to do that. Next is my magnet. Take a lid out of the hot water, put it on the jar. Take your ring. This is very hot. I got my little ball mitt here. And you're going to hand tighten these jars. They are now ready to go in the canner. And that's the process of canning pumpkin. Now, I've never canned pumpkin before, but this should make some great pumpkin pie or pumpkin puree, whatever you want to use it for. So I'm just going to set this one to the side. And that's it. I'm going to fill the rest and we'll be right back with you. Okay, that big pot of pumpkin only made 3 quarts. But that's okay. We're not huge pumpkin eaters. So these 3 quarts could be 3 separate pumpkin pies, pumpkin puree for whatever recipe. It can be pumpkin streusel, pumpkin souffle, all kinds of cool stuff you can do with this. So 3 will be plenty for us. And if those seeds take off that we've pulled, we may end up having to can more. But this has not been processed yet, so this still has to go through the canning process. So we'll bring you that back to you as soon as the turkey broth is done. We will come back for the canning of the pumpkin. Right now it's canned, it's boiling hot, and it's almost impossible to touch. That's how hot this is. But the next step is going into a canner and pressure canning it. Anything that is not a high acidic product, like your tomatoes, you don't have to pressure can. Your pumpkin, you do. So I'll be back in a little bit to show you that final process.